In this video, we're going to solve a percent mixture problem using a system of equations. So the problem looks like this. A surgeon needs 9 liters of a 3% saline solution. She has a 1% solution and a 10% solution available. How many liters of the 1% solution and how many liters of the 10% solution should she mix to make the 3% solution? So saline is a mixture of water and salt. So a 3% saline solution is water, liquid, which is 97% water and 3% salt. And the 1% saline solution is 99% water and 1% salt. All right, so once again, we've got a word problem. We're going to set up an equation or a system of equations to solve it. And so first we have to define our variables. And we're going to define our variables to be whatever it is that we're looking for. So it says here, how many liters of the 1% solution and how many liters of the 10% solution should she mix to make the 3% solution? So our two variables are going to be x and y. We're going to let x be the amount of 1% solution, so that's in liters, and then y is going to be the amount of 10% solution in liters. So now we have to figure out what our equations are going to look like. Since we have two variables, we need two equations to solve for them. So we've got amount of liquid and then the amount of salt in that liquid. So that's going to be the two equations. So the picture looks like this. So there's two containers with saline, and we're going to end up with a bigger container of saline. We're going to mix the first two containers together to get the bigger container. So we're trying to figure out how much liquid is in the first two containers. So there's liquid in all three of these containers, and a certain amount of that liquid is actually salt. So in each container, there's a certain amount of salt. So that's what I'm coloring in green. So we're going to have two equations. The first equation is going to be the amount of liquid, and the second equation is going to be just the amount of salt. So the amount of liquid in the first container is x liters. That's the 1% solution. And the amount of liquid in the second container is y liters. And we're going to mix those together to get 9 liters of the 3% solution. How much? So let's write down that equation. So we're going to mix the x liters and the y liters together, and we're going to end up with 9 liters. So x plus y is equal to 9 liters. So now let's look at how much salt is in each container. So in the first container, we have x liters, but only 1% of it is salt. So we have 0.01 times x liters of salt. That's how much salt is in that container. The second container contains 10% salt, so it's 0.10 times y liters of salt. So there's y liters in the entire container, and only 10% of that is salt. And then in the last container, there's 9 liters, but 3% of that should be salt. So it's 0.03 times 9, and that's in liters. So the second equation is going to be 0.01x plus 0.10y is equal to 0.03 times 9. So this is our system of equations. And once again, we can use substitution. So the first equation, I'm going to solve it for y. I get y equals 9 minus x. and I'm going to put that into the second equation in place of that y. And my equation is 0.01x plus 0.10 times 9 minus x. And then on the right, I'm just going to go ahead and multiply 9 times 0.03, and I get 0.27. Okay, so now before I start distributing, I always like to get rid of my decimals or my fractions. So this one, I'm going to multiply by 100 on both sides, so I can get rid of all of those decimals. So on the left, I just get x plus 10 times 9 minus x, and on the right, I get 27. So this is a nice simple linear equation with one variable. So if I distribute that 10, I get x plus 90 minus 10x on the left. And now combining like terms, x minus 10x is negative 9x. And then subtracting 90 from both sides, I get negative 63 on the right. And now if I divide both sides by negative 9, I get x is positive 7. And using the equation y equals 9 minus x, I'm going to get y is equal to 9 minus 7, or 2. And then finally we can answer the question. So in order to mix these two solutions together to get 9 liters of a 3% saline solution, she's going to have to use 7 liters of the 1% solution and 2 liters of the 10% solution.